Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I had been married to Bai Ningbin for 3 years, yet he abandoned me for his white moonlight. Boda stayed out all night time and again. I knew then that our marriage was already riddled with holes. When Boda bluntly said I was his substitute, I finally realized I was nothing more than a stand-in for Bai Ningbin. I resolved to divorce him. Yet while living alone, I met Chen Yuchu, the girl I had saved in my youth. On the day of our wedding anniversary, Bai Ningbin didn't come home. He wouldn't answer my calls, nor reply to my messages. I called his assistant to ask. Bai Ningbin had no engagements that afternoon. He had already left the company after work. I gazed at the candlelit dinner I had carefully prepared. I let out a sigh. The man who promised to spend every anniversary with me had broken his word. I met Bai Ningbin in college. He was strikingly handsome and excelled in his studies. His family wielded wealth and influence. He was a privileged heir, while I came from an ordinary working-class family. A chasm as vast as heaven and earth separated us. Yet astonishingly, he confessed his feelings to me. The insecure love I harbored in my heart became real. I agreed to be with him, my heart racing with excitement. Bai Ningbin's work kept him busy. But no matter how busy, he always remembered his promises to me. He treated me with gentle care. We spent our college years in sweet bliss. Now married for 3 years, having passed through the sweetest phase of our love, his affection for me grew colder by the day. Deep down, I should have known this was inevitable, because his cherished white moonlight had returned. The first time he stayed out all night was to pick her up from the airport. I learned this from a friend's post on their social media. That man was handsome and wealthy, exuding an air of inexplicable charm and a refined nobility. I heard he was Bai Ningbin's childhood friend and his first love. Seeing him, I felt ashamed of my own inadequacy. After that, his broken promises and late nights became frequent, all without exception for his white moonlight. Indeed, a white moonlight is a white moonlight, someone I could never measure up to. I silently dumped all the food into the trash. I knew he wasn't coming back. No one would eat this meal. Bai Ningbin didn't return until the early hours of the next morning. I lay in bed, eyes closed. The mattress sank beside me. He took my hand and said he was back, apologizing for missing our anniversary, promising to make it up next time. Make it up next time. But would there really be a next time for us? I turned over without a word. Silence was my best response. Bai Ningbin's white moonlight was named Boda. The Bai and Ji families had been close for generations. Bai Ningbin and Boda were childhood companions. They grew up together. Boda was always the youngest in his class, the model child praised by elders, the stellar student lauded by teachers. With such an exceptional childhood friend, it was only natural for Bai Ningbin to fall for him. Perfectly understandable. But after high school graduation, before Bai Ningbin could confess, Boda left to study abroad. Bai Ningbin spiraled into despair for a time, until he met me and slowly recovered. You could say I was the one who helped him through his darkest college years. I stood by him for 4 years in college, and we married after graduation. I couldn't understand why after 7 years together, I still couldn't compare to a fleeting glance from his white moonlight, until Boda said something that woke me up completely. Don't you think our eyes share a certain resemblance? The man across from me stirred his coffee gently, speaking those words with a slow, deliberate tone. I was struck as if by lightning. No wonder Bai Ningbin chased after me from our first meeting. No wonder he defied his parents to choose me so ordinary. No wonder he often gazed at my face, his eyes filled with longing. So that's how it was. I was just a substitute. Boda's substitute. That's why he treated me so well, holding me in the palm of his hand. But he was only being kind to Boda through me. Boda slid a check across the table, 5 million. He said it was mine if I divorced Bai Ningbin. Compensation for me. I suddenly felt like I was in a melodramatic TV show. Such a cliche plot was unfolding in my life. I pushed the check back. I may not be as wealthy as them, but am educated enough to support myself. I looked into his eyes and told Mr. G not to worry. Now that the real one was back, I, the substitute, would leave on my own. No need for him to stoop to driving me out. When I got home, I started packing my things. Bai Ningbin, unsurprisingly, didn't come home that night. It wasn't the first time. He hadn't kicked me out the day Jiboda returned, which was already more courtesy than I expected. I placed our marriage ring and the divorce agreement on the table and left with my suitcase. From the home we shared for 3 years, I found a cheap rental to settle into. After unpacking, I still hadn't heard back from Bai Ningbin about the divorce. I masochistically opened social media, and as expected, our mutual friends had posted their photos. In the pictures, Jiboda wore a childish birthday hat, holding hands with Bai Ningbin as they cut a birthday cake. The caption read, "This is the perfect golden couple." On Jiboda's wrist was a watch. I had seen it in Bai Ningbin's study drawer. I thought it was meant as an anniversary gift for me, so I pretended not to notice. Now it was on Jiboda's wrist. I realized I had been fooling myself. Every day after that, I saw photos of Jiboda and Bai Ningbin on social media. Bai Ningbin's face held a shy smile, his eyes full of affection fixed on Jiboda. Once upon a time, Bai Ningbin had smiled at me like that. The day we confirmed our relationship, we kissed under dazzling fireworks. His gaze toward me was filled with tenderness, but now all that was in the past. It wasn't until a week later that Bai Ningbin called. "Fang Yuan, let's talk." What was there left to talk about? I refused. "I didn't take a single thing of yours when I left. I returned the ring and signed the divorce papers. Just pick a time to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau." Bai Ningbin's anxious voice came through again. He didn't agree to the divorce. He said we were doing fine. Why divorce? Doing fine. I stared at the clouds drifting outside the window. My heart twisted in pain. You call it fine when you're out living it up with Jiboda, while I'm home staring at your intimate photos. Bai Ningbin's voice carried a hint of panic. You know about it? Yes, I know. Perhaps out of consideration for me, his husband, or for the sake of his company and reputation. Bai Ningbin never posted photos with Jiboda himself, but all his friends knew, which already showed where he stood. Bai Ningbin fell silent for a moment, then said I should come back so we could talk. He hung up without giving me a chance to refuse. I hesitated, but went back anyway. I didn't expect to open the door and see Bai Ningbin sitting on the couch with Jiboda. They were sitting close, seemingly deep in conversation. When they saw me, Jiboda draped an arm around Bai Ningbin, as if claiming ownership. My heart ached faintly. Even knowing their relationship, the pain still lingered. You're back. Bai Ningbin stood quickly, his tone tinged with nervousness. I cut him off. Mr. Bai, I don't know why you called me here. Bai Ningbin frowned. Fang Yuan, do you have to talk to me like that? I glanced at Jiboda, forcing a smile. It's only polite, to avoid any misunderstandings. Bai Ningbin raised his voice. Afraid of who misunderstanding? Jiboda patted him. Ningbin, go make some tea. Fang Yuan must be thirsty. Ningbin, I felt a wave of disorientation. I had called him Ningbin once, but he rejected it, saying Ningbin was too common, too ordinary a name, that calling it would make several girls turn around. Better to just call him Bai Ningbin. I believed him, but now Jiboda called him Ningbin. It wasn't the name that was wrong. It was me who wasn't worthy. Well, Bai Ningbin went to the kitchen to make tea. Jiboda spoke up. This house is nicely decorated. I didn't know what he meant. Jiboda continued, saying he and Ningbin had talked about buying a large apartment in the city center with a huge floor-to-ceiling window where they could sit at night sipping wine, watching the city lights. They had also said they'd raise a majestic border collie. I'd take it for morning walks and we'd walk it together at night. They both loved movies, so they'd install a big projector screen and surround sound to feel like they were in a theater. Jiboda liked the piano. Bai Ningbin loved the violin. They planned to build a music room to play duets in their spare time. I absorbed every word, except for the border collie. Our home had all of it. We didn't have a collie because of my allergies. I wasn't suited for furry pets. Bai Ningbin had given up on it, but he loved watching border collie videos. I felt guilty about it for a long time. And the piano. When he set up the music room, I wondered why he bought a piano. I knew Bai Ningbin played the violin well, but he didn't play the piano. I never imagined the piano and the collie were all because of G. Boater. I gave a bitter smile, my heart numb with pain. Let Bai Ningbin go. We were never meant to be. Please tell Bai Ningbin. He'll be at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow at 9 a.m. With that, I left in a humiliated retreat. Bai Ningbin chased after me, footsteps hurried. Fang Yuan, I took a deep breath. Turning back calmly, Mr. Bai. Is there anything else? Fang Yuan, G. Boda and I are just childhood friends. Not what you think. Mr. Bai, we're about to divorce. Your affairs are no longer my concern, nor do I want to care. They have nothing to do with me. Bai Ningbin's tone grew impatient. I told you, it's not that kind of relationship. Why won't you believe me? They're the perfect golden couple, and you say it's nothing. Mr. Bai, don't worry. I won't go around spreading rumors or tarnish the Bai family's reputation. I posted about the divorce a week ago and came to tell you again today. Surely Mr. Bai can find time tomorrow to visit the Civil Affairs Bureau. Bai Ningbin furrowed his brow. Are you sure about the divorce? It's not a threat. I shook my head with a smile, Mr. Bai. I never joke about marriage. Fine, Fang Yuan. Remember what you said today. Bai Ningbin's voice was fierce. He lifted his head proudly. After the divorce, even if you beg on your knees, I won't agree to remarry. Back at my place. That night I didn't lose sleep for once. Since learning of G. Boda's existence, my mind had been consumed with thoughts of them. Sleepless night after night. Unable to rest. After filing for divorce, I felt calm, sleeping soundly until morning. My spirits lifted considerably. The next day, G. Boda drove Bai Ningbin to the Civil Affairs Bureau. A few days ago, I would have been consumed by jealousy, but now I felt no ripples, only a sigh. Were they planning a seamless transition from divorce to marriage? Such impeccable time management. No wonder they're capitalists, exploiting employees and themselves. No wonder they live in mansions and drive sports cars. While I'm still penniless, Bai Ningbin got out, stepping in his lambskin shoes, striding over quickly. His face grim, he asked Fang Yuan, I'll ask you one last time. Are you sure about the divorce? G. Boda's expression shifted, his gaze dark and unreadable, but I somehow sensed a threat in it. Was he afraid I'd back out and block his path? I walked ahead, hurry up. I only took an hour off work. I'm in a rush to get back. I calmly stated my intentions, but Bai Ningbin exploded like a lit firecracker, signing the papers in a fury, then storming back to the car. I wore a regretful expression, which he happened to catch. He smugly rolled down the window, snorting, it's too late for regrets now. What was this woman imagining? I was only lamenting that they could ride to work in a luxury car, while I was stuck on my little electric scooter. Seeing my bewildered expression, Bai Ningbin rolled up the window in a rage. As G. Boda passed by, he softly said, never see you again. I nodded, as you wish. It was rush hour. Even a multi-million-dollar car couldn't escape the traffic jam. I rode my scooter, zipping past their car, waving triumphantly. Without looking back, I could feel Bai Ningbin's glare burning through me. So what if they had a luxury car? They could only watch me ride away freely. I never imagined before how painful life without Bai Ningbin would be. But after the divorce, living alone felt damn liberating. Bai Ningbin once forbade staying out all night, or hanging out with bad friends, or going to bars and clubs. I had to work to support myself in school, and kept working after graduation, so I had little free time. Following those rules was easy, but the second one was tough, because his idea of bad friends was my group of old classmates. I always knew he looked down on my background, and even my friends. Back then, my world revolved around Bai Ningbin. To keep him happy, I gradually distanced myself from my friends. Now divorced, I quickly reached out To the classmates I was close with back then, and we started catching up again. My high school friend Chen Zi even traveled to my city to drink with me, accompanied by a young girl. Chen Zi introduced her as his sister Shen Yuchu. Shen Yuchu flashed a smile, revealing to delicate dimples. Mr. Fang am Shen Yuchu. I nodded with a smile, greeting her. I'm Fang Yuan, your brother's friend. If you don't mind, just call me by my name. Shen Yuchu crisply called out my name, Fang Yuan. That evening, Chen Zi and I drank, chatted, and ate barbecue. Shen Yuchu sat nearby, listening as we talked about everything under the sun, chiming in with a quip when we bragged. We didn't head home until midnight. Before leaving, Chen Zi made a point to say, my sister goes to the same university as you. She's in her final year. She'll stay here to work after graduation. I'm not at ease with her being here alone. Please look out for her. That's a given. When a friend needs help, I can't say no. I've got to help. I immediately gave Shen Yuchu my phone number and WeChat, telling her to reach out if she needed anything. Shen Yuchu didn't have much to ask, just sent me daily check-ins on WeChat, 3 times a day, chatting about mundane things. Good morning, Fang Yuan. Look, this is my breakfast today. A female classmate is jealous I got a scholarship. She's been bad-mouthing me. I'm so annoyed, but my project was a complete success. I got a bonus. Let me treat you to dinner. I couldn't figure out why this girl kept messaging me. Maybe she just wanted someone to share her life with. I could only politely respond to all her messages, one by one. Meanwhile, the Bai and Ji families continued their collaboration. Photos of Bai Ningbin and Ji Bodo were spreading like wildfire online. People online said they looked perfect together. Some eager netizens dug up their past, exclaiming over their childhood friendship. I was done. Many college classmates bombarded me on WeChat, asking what was going on with me and Bai Ningbin. After replying to a few close friends, I posted on my social media that we were divorced, then went silent, playing dead. I had already moved on to a new life, yet so many people kept talking about it. It was pretty irritating. Shen Yuchu showed up at my place with a ton of food. I thought it was a delivery, so I opened the door in my boxes, only to find it was her. I slammed the door shut through on clothes and opened it again. Shen Yuchu grinned mischievously. Not bad, quite the asset. I pretended not to understand her comment. Opening the fridge, I asked if she wanted orange juice. Shen Yuchu calmly pointed out, you're walking with the same hand and foot. Don't call me out like that. I nearly tripped in embarrassment. I'm a respectable man after all. Besides my ex-wife, when had I ever been so exposed in front of a woman? She sat down shocked, saying she wanted orange juice. I took out 2 oranges and started juicing them. Shen Yuchu curiously came over to watch. You can make your own juice. Homemade is healthier and cheaper. I brought cake and macarons to pair with the juice. I hadn't eaten breakfast yet, so I devoured the cake. It was way better than anything I'd bought. After clearing the pile of food, I finally asked why she came by today. Shen Yuchu grabbed my hand and said, I want you to be my boyfriend. I patted her soft hair, chuckling. Take out the boy part and I'd agree. Shen Yuchu crossed her arms, smirking slyly. I knew you wouldn't give in so easily. But Fang Yuan, you know what they say about eating someone's food. I whipped out my phone, asking how much. I'd transfer it to her. She held up 2 fingers, demanding an outrageous 20,000. My phone nearly slipped from my hand. I asked, trembling, what she meant. How much? Shen Yuchu leisurely pulled up her photo album, showing me price tags. None under 10,000. Were these things made of gold? How could they be so outrageously expensive? My monthly salary was only 30,000. After 20,000, plus money for my parents, I'd be sleeping under a bridge. I saw through her plan. This girl came prepared. Who the hell invites someone to eat and shows them the price tags? I clutched my chest, painfully asking if I had any other options. Shen Yuchu wagged her finger, saying, be my boyfriend or pay up. So, getting beaten into the hospital by Chen Zi or paying 20,000, which was the worst deal? Shenyachu huffed, indignant that I was hesitating. No need to pay. And you get a beautiful girlfriend for free. Isn't that a steal? I rubbed my aching temples. Dear beautiful miss, why would you want a divorced man as your boyfriend? My class is having a reunion today. Everyone's bringing their partners. I'd lose face going alone. Shenyachu sized me up with a picky gaze. You're decent looking. Your figure's passable. Your salary's barely acceptable. So, if decided to temporarily recruit you as my boyfriend, thanks for thinking so highly of me. But, hearing it was just to play a part for a class reunion, I perked up and agreed. I'd be her boyfriend for one day. Deal struck, but by Ningbin and Jiboder seemed to be everywhere. Shenyachu was in the same department as Bai Ningbin, just attending a reunion with her, and I still ran into them, though they no longer made me dwell on the past or feel pain. Thinking about being a substitute for years still left a bad taste, but I wasn't the only one annoyed. When Bai Ningbin saw me, his face looked constipated. In front of everyone, Bai Ningbin said snidely, "You're not from our department. Why are you here?" Before I could respond, Shenyachu jumped in, introducing, "Sister Bai, isn't this reunion open to Pluzones? Fang Yuan is my boyfriend. He took time off to come with me." Bai Ningbin sneered, "You took an hour off for our divorce, but a whole afternoon for a reunion." The word divorce dropped, and all eyes in the room landed on us. I shrugged innocently. "Miss Bai, you should know well. I treat my girlfriend the best." Shenyachu leaned into me cooperatively. Thanks to Mr. J. If he hadn't butted in, I might not have won Fang Yuan. I nearly burst out laughing, forgetting to ask how she knew so much. Her words clearly implied Jiboda was a homewrecker. Sure enough, Jiboda's face darkened to the extreme. "Miss Shen, don't speak recklessly." Shenyachu blinked innocently. "Oh, did I get it wrong? If you dared to do it, why fear people talking? Sounds like a guilty conscience." Bai Ningbin shot Shenyachu a glance. "Junior Shen, you're just an outsider. Best not to judge." Shenyachu fired back. "When your white moonlight left, you found a man who looked a bit like him to marry. When your moonlight returned, you kicked out the husband who stood by you for years. You're a disgrace to women, and am Fang Yuan's girlfriend now, not some outsider. If you to keep bullying him, you'll have to deal with me." Not just the onlookers were stunned. I was floored. I never shared this with anyone. Where did she hear it? Bai Ningbin's face flushed red with anger, but Shenyachu hit every mark. He couldn't refute her. The room fell silent, everyone processing the bombshell. I coughed lightly. "It's all in the past. I don't like him anymore." Bai Ningbin whipped his head toward me, his terrifying expression like head devour me. "It's been barely any time since our divorce, and you say you don't like me?" I said incredulously. "Mr. Bai, you know we're divorced. Why care if I like you? You were with Mr. G during our marriage, and I said nothing." Jiboda stepped toward us, his face dark. "Fang Yuan, don't go too far." Shenyachu stood in front of me unflinching. "If you two hadn't started this, you think I'd bother with you? No need to intimidate me. Fang Yuan is under the Shen family's protection. I'd like to see you try something." Being shielded by a younger girl was a bit embarrassing, but seeing their faces red and black with anger, I secretly relished it. I thought that was the end of our interactions, but Bai Ningbin wouldn't let go. He waited for me downstairs at my place. Under the pale moonlight, he looked exhausted, like he'd been gravely ill. I didn't stop, planning to pretend I didn't see him. Bai Ningbin blocked me, saying, "Fang Yuan, can we remarry?" I exaggeratedly cleaned my ears, asking, "Did I just hallucinate? What did you say?" Bai Ningbin bit his lip and repeated, "Let's remarry Fang Yuan." I laughed in exasperation. "Bai Ningbin, you used me as a substitute from the start, unfaithful to our marriage. When he returned, I stepped aside, and now you want to remarry. What, you think you're the sun, and the world revolves around you?" I admit I had ulterior motives at first. I pursued you because you resembled him. When he came back, I was thrilled. My heart soared. But the more time passed, the more I realized I no longer loved him. I love you, Fang Yuan. Since our divorce, you're all I think about. The house feels empty with just me. I miss you cooking for me, juicing oranges, making desserts, holding me tight saying you love me. Fang Yuan. I swear ill cut off contact with Ji Boder. Please come back. I stared into Bai Ningbin's eyes and asked, do you know what Ji Boder told me? He said he loves playing the piano, drinking red wine, and border collies. Our marital home is filled with his traces. When we decorated it, who were you thinking of? Bai Ningbin explained in a panic. I admit it was my fault. Fang Yuan, I didn't see my heart clearly. I was confused. Now I understand. I used to love Ji Boder, but now I love you. I cut him off. Enough, Bai Ningbin. You don't love anyone. You're just chasing what you can't have. A white moonlight is only a white moonlight because it's far away, untouchable. Once you have it, it becomes ordinary dust. You're coming to me now only because I didn't beg for you. If I went back, I'd still end up discarded. Bai Ningbin's face was full of grief. He kept saying it wasn't like that. It's not like that. I really love you. Fang Yuan's already rejected you, and you're still clinging. Do you think I don't exist? Behind me, Shen Yuchu approached, carrying a bag of snacks, marching over fiercely. I was a bit stunned. Why are you here? She glared at me fiercely. As my boyfriend, you're breaking the rules. Chatting alone with another woman. I'll deal with you later, boyfriend. Please add fake in front of that. Thank you. After Bai Ningbin left in a daze that day, Shen Yuchu completely latched onto me. Little miss, we agreed. I was only pretending to be your boyfriend. She lounged opally on my couch, eating my food using my computer, glancing at me sideways. When did I say it was pretend? I froze, thinking back carefully. She never did say pretend that day. I slammed the table. You said temporary recruitment. I meant temporary, as in for a lifetime. Damn, she was playing word games with me. Fine. No one heard our conversation that day. If I don't admit it, she can't do anything even if she sues. This girl I couldn't hit or scold, so I resorted to playing dumb. Shen Yuchu sighed. My hair stood on end. She waved her phone with pity in her eyes. Who said there's no evidence? I recorded everything from start to finish. You're so devious. I shed a tear of self-pity. She pinched my cheek, grinning. Give up and surrender. You're stuck with me for life. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why did Shen Yuchu of all people pick me? Though Chenzi usually kept a low profile. During my marriage to Bai Ningbin, I'd seen enough to know Chenzi used nothing but the best. Plus Shen Yuchu's performance at the reunion. Ji Boder was furious but didn't touch her, which showed the Shen family's influence. So was Shen Yuchu blind? And Bai Ningbin, even after the divorce, kept calling and texting daily, annoying me so much I had to block him. I thought that would bring some peace. But both these women showed up at my company. I was eating in the cafeteria when Bai Ningbin arrived with takeout from the Bai family's 5-star hotel. Fang Yuan, I can't cook, so I brought you specially made takeout. It's nutritious. Try it, see if you like it. Bai Ningbin never brought me food before. In the past, I would have been genuinely touched, but now I only felt irritation and impatience. I looked at him. Bai Ningbin, if made it clear. We're done. Bai Ningbin's been in the spotlight lately. Many recognized him. Other colleagues noticed him, whispering that it was Bai Ningbin, that famous female entrepreneur. Why is Bai Ningbin bringing Fang Yuan food? Is Fang Yuan related to the Bai family? Bai Ningbin introduced himself gracefully. Hello, I'm Fang Yuan's wife Zun Du Jia Du. Fang Yuan doesn't even seem rich. I pursued the real-life headquarters of my dreams. I prayed to the heavens for a rich woman to take me in. I was instantly drowned in a wave of envious and jealous voices. I stood up about to explain, but another voice cut in saying, what wife? More like ex-wife. Shen Yuchu's fierce voice rang out. She hurried over, placing an insulated container on the table. She glanced disdainfully at the takeout. Can't even cook and still trying to curry favor. I brought food I made myself. My body jolted with dread. Just as I feared, trouble had arrived. With these two women together, the man caught in the middle was bound to suffer. To avoid prolonging the ordeal, I decided to settle it quickly. I packed up the takeout and handed it back to Bai Ningbin. Ignoring his hurt expression, I said, Mr. Bai, we're done. Everything you do now only brings me trouble. Please don't come back. Then I turned my gaze to Shen Yuchu. She glared at me, puffed up like an angry pufferfish. My head throbbed, but I still handed her container back. Chasing men has no future. Go back to school. Shen Yuchu's eyes lit up. Besides my father and brother, you're the first man to care about my future. You really love me. I cursed inwardly, thinking she was crazy. I turned and walked away. Jiboda learned by Ningbin was still pestering me, but he was smart enough not to confront me. Instead, he contacted the Bai family to discuss their engagement. The Bai family never liked me, their poor son-in-law. Now that I'd stepped aside, the Bai family was thrilled, quickly agreeing. They announced Jiboda and Bai Ningbin's upcoming marriage. The wedding was set for next week. They seemed in a rush. Shen Yuchu came over with an invitation, asking if I'd attend. I didn't even look at it. They're nothing to me now, not even friends. Why would I go just to give a gift? I'm saving to buy a house. I can't waste money. Shen Yuchu propped her chin, smiling at me. When we get married, we can invite them and get the gift money back. Here we go again. With a headache, I asked Miss Shen, what exactly do you see in me? We've only known each other a few days. Am I someone's substitute again? Shen Yuchu giggled. Pouting, she said, we've known each other for decades, and you still haven't recognized me. I was stunned. So we knew each other as kids, in kindergarten or elementary school. I racked my brain, but no matter how I thought, I couldn't recall knowing such a person from childhood. Shen Yuchu mentioned 16 years ago. Didn't you give a little girl a white rabbit candy? I think I did. Long-buried memories came flooding back. 16 years ago, I was in elementary school. On my way home, a little girl in a pink dress with pigtails was sobbing under a tree. My mother said girls are born princesses, and boys should protect them. So I walked over and gave her a white rabbit candy. Little sister, don't cry. Big brother's treating you to candy. The girl, eyes puffy, tearfully took the candy, eating it while sniffling. I asked little sister, where are your parents? She shook her head, silent. I looked around. No adults seemed to be looking for a child. I couldn't leave her there alone, so I decided to take her to the police. Little sister, big brother will take you to report it and find your mom, okay? She still didn't speak, but her chubby little hand clutched my shirt tightly. At the police station, I stayed with her for 2 hours, until her mother arrived. While her mother hugged her crying, I was worried about my own mother, so I told the police and left, without saying goodbye to the girl. In my memories, the little girl's image slowly merged with Shen Yuchu. I pointed at her stunned little crybaby. Shen Yuchu pounced, calling me big brother Fang Yuan. You finally remembered me. I steadied her, embarrassed. It's been so long and you still recognize me. I'd forgotten. If you hadn't taken me to the police, I might have been taken by traffickers. My savior, of course, I'd always remember. It dawned on me. So you wanted me as your boyfriend, to repay a debt, and to mess with Bai Ningbin. Shen Yuchu stomped, frustrated, calling me an idiot. I really like you. A life-saving debt, repaid with my heart, is too cliche. Shen Yuchu spilled everything. She'd always remembered me, and wanted to find me. Until junior high, she saw a photo album on Chen Zi's phone of us playing basketball together. She was thrilled to spot someone who looked like her big brother. The age matched. She eagerly asked Chen Zi my name, confirming I was the one. She pestered Chen Zi for details about me. He sensed something was off. Under his questioning, she told the truth. Chen Zi, grateful for my care toward his sister, secretly treated me to meals and snacks, while telling Shen Yuchu about me daily. Back then, besides studying, I just played basketball in my free time. But Shen Yuchu found me more and more fascinating. A young girl's heart bloomed, and she slowly fell for me. She planned to attend the same university to pursue me. But when she arrived, she heard I was dating Bai Ningbin. Her pure girlish heart shattered into pieces, but she wouldn't stoop to breaking us up or being a homewrecker, so she could only watch us from afar. When she heard I divorced Bai Ningbin, she eagerly begged Chen Zi to bring her to see me, to seize my single moment. I was dumbfounded. All this over a white rabbit candy she remembered for years, and secretly liked me all that time. I felt it wasn't worth it for her. I started to refuse. But Shen Yuchi's icy glare swept over. I sent that recording to my parents and brother. Next week at Boda and by Ningbin's wedding, they'll be there. Start thinking about how to host your future in-law and big brother-in-law. No matter how I explained or dodged, Shen Yuchu stood firm, only hearing what she wanted. Sunshin's parents and Chenzi came to my place. Shen Yuchu slipped into the kitchen to make tea, giving us space to talk. Shin's parents were kind, putting me at ease. They seemed reasonable. Surely they'd listen to my explanation, but Shin's father nearly scared me to death. Fang, when are you and Yuchu planning to marry? I choked before managing to say, Uncle Shen, you've misunderstood. Shen Yuchu and I aren't like that. Shin's mother slammed the table furious. What's that? You agreed to be my daughter's boyfriend, and now you're backing out. Think we're pushovers. I looked to Chenzi for help. My good friend clenched his fists ready to fight. I'm democratic. Be my sister's husband or try my martial arts. Pick one. Can't you hear me out? My side. Shen Yuchu ran out, draping herself over my back. Thanks, Mom, Dad, and brother. I want to pursue grad school. Marriage can wait until I graduate. I can't fight or run. So I sat listening with a blank face. This family of four planned my future with crystal clarity, even debating whether our future kids should go to Tsinghua or Peking University or study abroad. I thought, let me perish, finally sending those three gods away. Shen Yuchu, can we finally sit and talk? Big brother Fang Yuan, am I really so bad you want like me? Not at all. Deep down it's my inferiority. My background was never great, though I work hard and strive. Sometimes your origins set your ceiling. No matter how hard I try, I can't catch up to those rich kids standing on giants' shoulders. Especially now as a divorced man, Shen Yuchu is great, lively, cheerful, and devoted, shining wherever she goes. Because she's so great. I don't want her to settle for a crook tree like me. She deserves better. Since that day, after I poured out my thoughts to her, she stopped contacting me, probably realized and gave up. But Bai Ningbin still hadn't. The day before his wedding, he waited for me downstairs again, his face full of bitterness. He said hoarsely, Fang Yuan, tomorrow I'm getting married. I didn't say anything to provoke him. I just offered my congratulations. Bai Ningbin shouted at me, eyes red. Fang Yuan, if you still want me, I'd leave the Bai family and run from the wedding to go with you. I glanced at Boda standing not far behind. I only said, Bai Ningbin, cherish the one in front of you. Bai Ningbin ran off sobbing. Boda's mouth moved, but he said nothing and chased after Bai Ningbin, watching their backs. I suddenly felt at peace. Maybe I'd resented and hated before, but that was all behind me. You said to cherish the one in front of me, so why don't you cherish me? Shen Yuchi's voice came from behind again. I gave a helpless, bitter smile, wondering why every time Bai Ningbin showed up, you appear right on time. Shen Yuchu walked slowly to face me, saying deliberately, Fang Yuan, I haven't contacted you these past few days because I was thinking about what you said, wondering if I really like you, or like Bai Ningbin, chasing you as an unattainable white moonlight. In the same way, I froze. Smiling, I asked for her conclusion. Shen Yuchu threw herself into my arms, saying, these days, without seeing you, my mind was full of you. You in your boxes. You juicing oranges for me. You looking miserable when I tricked you. So I'm sure I really like you. I held her tightly. Truthfully, these days without seeing you, my mind was full too, of you bouncing around, standing up for me, when you weren't causing a ruckus. I actually missed it. She stomped on my foot hard. Then why didn't you come find me? Did you have to make me bow first? I led her to a roadside bench to sit. I wanted to plan our future properly before coming to you. I'm a man. I have to take responsibility for providing. You've been pampered since childhood, eating cakes worth thousands. With my current finances, I can't afford that. I'm working on a business plan. You want to pursue grad school. While you're studying these few years, I'll start my business to build a future for us. When I've earned enough for a dowry, I'll propose. She mumbled, I can eat cheap cakes too. I laughed at what do. How could I let your quality of life drop? If my precious girl married a poor guy and lived a hard life, I'd be furious. She asked how long it'd take. I thought and said 3 years. In those 3 years, if you find someone better and want to leave, I won't stop you. If you still want to marry me after 3 years, it'll come with a dowry and a ring to propose. She rolled her eyes. 3 years it is. I'm sticking to you. Don't try to push me away. Success or failure in 3 years. I'm marrying you. The next day I didn't attend by Ningbin and Ji Boda's wedding. Shen Yachu didn't go either. She lounged on my couch, showing me Chen Zi's photos of the wedding. Bai Ningbin looked expressionless, like someone owed him 5 million. Ji Boda forced a smile. They didn't look like newlyweds at all. Shen Yachu scoffed. Serves the homewrecker and cheater right, lock them together. I rolled my eyes. Little miss, please move your butt. You're sitting on my documents. She puffed up like a pufferfish. What butt? Can you use such crude words with the lady? Fine, please move your noble rear. By Ningbin's side story, I married Ji Boda, finally fulfilling a decade-long dream. Yet I felt no joy. My heart was empty. I knew I'd lost the most precious thing. When I first joined the company, the pressure was immense. It was Fang Yuan who stayed by my side through those tough times. When I drank too much at business events, he made me hangover soup. No matter how late I came home, if I was hungry, he'd cook for me. I never had to worry about the house. He was my strongest support. Then Ji Boda returned. My youthful obsession reawakened. I couldn't help seeking Ji Boda. When Fang Yuan found out, he didn't argue or fight. He just quietly signed the divorce papers and left our home. After he left, I begged him not to divorce. He refused. Later, I slowly realized my true feelings. I now loved Fang Yuan. I wanted to win him back, but it was too late. Someone else had taken him away. When my family found out, despite my wishes, they quickly set a wedding date with the Ji family. After marrying Ji Boda, I realized a white moonlight was just that. He had his Ji family matters. I had my Bai family business. Often so busy we'd only meet briefly each day. Before heading to work, the house was always cold and empty. My once obsession turned into a scarred reality. I finally understood. Ji Boda to me was just the unwillingness of something unattainable. I couldn't live like this. A few months later, I filed for divorce. Ji Boda agreed. In his eyes, I saw my own exhaustion. We were both freed. After the divorce, I wanted to find Fang Yuan, but I didn't dare. He already had Shen Yachu by his side. There was no place for me. Hearing he was starting a business, I quietly supported him from behind, watching his company grow stronger each day. I was genuinely happy for him. He was getting married. His bride was Shen Yachu. Seeing him put a ring on her finger, my heart ached. Tears fell unbidden. This was once mine. I lost it through my own deceit.